is currently en route to be distributed to healthcare workers and nursing homes.
You're watching CNN. We just witnessed this packing operation at the Pfizer plant in Portage, Michigan. Then these vehicles, these FedEx trucks, left that plant, headed to this airport in Grand Rapids, and that is where they have now made these preparations to take off to fly to Memphis. From Memphis, of course, where there's a FedEx hub, then these vaccines shipments will be distributed all across the country. All 50 states will be receiving this first shipment of coronavirus vaccines.
Thank you for that report, Brian. And we all know that soon CNN will be thanking Joe Biden for his incredible job at getting that done. That's not a joke, by the way. You know that they will. Pfizer waited until immediately after the election to apply for the authorization to distribute the vaccine, even though all of their phase trials had been completed, because they knew that if they announced to the world that everything was supposedly all good and they were getting ready for the final rollout, that would reflect positively on President Trump. And the liberal media said that President Trump was lying when he promised that a vaccine would be here by the end of the year.
No large-scale solutions are expected quickly, especially when it comes to a vaccine.
It's 2 years, everybody. 2 years before a vaccine.
Even with all the technology we have now.
Yeah, I think 2 years.
Oh, well, 2 years, huh? Well, Bill Nye would know because he's the science guy. That is, if you consider a guy with a mechanical engineering degree who worked at Boeing a scientist. But hey, he knows that if you mix vinegar and baking soda together, it fizzes up and it's real cool. So with the vaccine here, I'm sure that things will finally start getting back to normal, right? Oh, wait, what's this?
When do you think life will fully return to what we thought of as normal back in January? No masks, no social distancing, no other protective measures necessary?
Certainly by the summer, we'll be way closer to normal than we are now. But even through early 2022, unless we help other countries get rid of this disease and we get high vaccination rates in our country, the risk of reintroduction will be there. And of course, the global economy will be slowed down, which hurts America economically in a pretty dramatic way.
So now it's not just next year, it's the year after that. Isn't the New World Order fun? I remember back in the good old days when they said it was just 14 days to flatten the curve. Now it's 3 years. But Bill Gates is an expert on viruses. After all, his software, Microsoft Windows, was plagued by them for decades. And in the 90s, I don't think it could go a single week without your computer crashing.
Let's plug it in. It's going to say, hey, I see you plugged in a new device. And it's going to load in the appropriate drivers. You'll notice that this scanner build, whoa.
Bill likes things that crash, especially the economy for us little people.
And you've said elsewhere, the economy is not going to be anything like it was. It's going to take a long time to recover. It's going to be, people are going to be surprised at how slow and how fitful this is.
Of course, Bill's looking forward to the Great Reset, the hyperinflation socialist dystopia the Democrats have been planning when they're going to rob the savings of the middle class and give our money to those who, the Green New Deal explains, don't want to work. We were already at the end of a long-term debt cycle before the coronavirus pandemic hit, and so now it's the globalists' dream come true. And speaking of the pandemic, even though it's only Monday, we already have a Coronavirus Hypocrite of the Week award, which goes to this Department of Justice official who held a press conference to announce some indictments of some of Ilhan Omar's friends over in the Middle East, and he thought that the cameras couldn't catch him over there in the corner before he stepped out for his big moment in the spotlight. That clip is actually 2 months old, but it's sort of newly discovered and just went viral, so I had to share it with you. And speaking of newly surfaced things going viral, this tweet from Eric Swalwell is making the rounds again, where he demanded that we all stop wearing masks. At the time that he tweeted that, most grocery stores in California had already implemented a no mask, no service policy. But if you live in an area where you don't have to wear a mask to go to the store, if you're in the vicinity of Eric Swalwell, wearing a mask is highly recommended. But until last week, everybody forgot that Eric Swalwell existed, but we were reminded thanks to the FBI revealing that a Chinese spy had worked her way into Swalwell's inner circle several years ago and even helped fundraise for his congressional campaign. Most of the details are classified, but what the reports say is that she did the hanky-panky with several government officials, and many suspect that one of those was Mr. Swalwell. Of course, he insists he did nothing wrong, and I believe him. I think the allegations against Eric Swalwell are patently ridiculous, because there's no way in hell that he would have an intimate relationship with a woman. In other news, there was another major rally in Washington, D.C. over the weekend when thousands of patriots gathered to ring the alarm bell about the Democrats' attempts to 2020 election. Oh, I'm sorry, we're not allowed to talk about that on YouTube anymore, I forgot. I meant to say that after the Supreme Court refused to hear the case about the you-know-what, despite being endorsed by 18 different attorneys generals who have serious questions they want answered about the last-minute unconstitutional changes regarding the mail-in voter system and the signature verification and other issues about election integrity. I believe according to YouTube's new terms of service, you can still say that there was voter fraud. You're just not allowed to say that there was enough to change the outcome of the election. So while we can still use sarcasm, I'll just say that I'm sure that Joe Biden won this thing fair and square. And it looks like the Chinese Communist Party may be taking over the United States here on January 20th unless we get a Christmas miracle real soon. And speaking of Christmas for you slackers out there, it's not too late yet, but time is running out for you to order any of my shirts from markdice.com and get them in time for Christmas. You have to use rush shipping at this point, which is only an extra $4, but I'll do this for you. I'll save you 20% off of anything if you use the promo code SLACKER at the checkout. That's good through Wednesday, so if you want to wear a Trump Claus sweatshirt to Christmas dinner or get somebody on your list, contains facts and opinions some may find offensive shirt, I